You are now listening to a 302 Birds podcast experience, proudly powered by Tick Pick, Cutbet, El Diablo Burritos, Knicks Pizza, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street.
Another day, another dollar in Philadelphia. Emphasis on the L, but not last night for the Sixers. Hopefully not tomorrow night or whenever you guys are listening to this podcast. A lot of positives to take away from this week, a lot of negatives, a lot of. But I do want to also say and give a big shout out to that guy that's hanging out up at Lincoln Financial Field, Mr. Howard Roseman. I want to give him his roses and tell him great job on the draft for bringing in 9 new star-studded players to the roster and proving that white men can jump, drafting Cooper DeJean. Just saying. What's up, everybody? Welcome to 302 Birds. I had to. Come on. I couldn't not.
You could.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Nah, great to be here. Great to have positivity as a Philly fan. And yeah,
it feels weird.
It does, because it's always negative. I thought we were gonna be out last night to the Knicks, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, we'll get to it. I know Jack's ready to lay into our Sixers, but before we get to the Sixers, guys, as always, we do want to jump into Jack's weekly call-ins, sponsored by our friends over at El Diablo Burritos. We appreciate them for everything that they do for us.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is. Their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302 Birds sent you. God bless, go Birds.
Like we said, if you're in and around Delaware, please stop by our local El Diablo. Tonight we have a 302 Birds legend, and his name is Mr. NFL Mike. Look at that, representing the brand. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Doing great. Better now that I'm here and I know where to go get burritos when I come to Delaware.
Yeah. You got to stop by, dude. Come on through. What question you have for us tonight?
All right. I'm here for chaos, and that's what I want to see. Okay. NFL draft is done. I know you guys are going to break down the draft later in the show when I'm not here. But the question is, now the NFL draft is done and the teams are kind of set. Let's predict how many wins each team in the NFC East are going to win. As of right now, your prediction for the New York Giants first.
I'm going to go with 5-13.
It's an 18 game next season. It is 18 games for sure.
Come on, they drafted Malik Neighbors.
It's
Who
still
cares?
17.
Who's that? So I'm sorry, 5-12. Because they definitely maybe they had some good draft picks, but they lost a force in the backfield in Saquon Barkley. He's in Philly right now. So I don't think they're gonna have a good season at all. We'll see, what Donnie Dimes can do. He's been injured majority of the season last year. So we'll see. They don't really have many weapons in wide receiver. The defense is all right. They got Thibodeau. And then let's go to the Commanders. I'm going with I'll go with 9-6. Or I'm sorry, 9-8. I think they've definitely got better with the NFL draft. They drafted a quarterback, right? A wide receiver, someone on the defense. So they looked out pretty good. The Cowboys, they just re-signed Zeke Elliott to a 2-year deal for $4 million.
He looks washed.
And apparently this could be rumors, but he may not be wearing number 21. He may be wearing 15. They did in New England, so we'll see. Doesn't really matter.
Wait. That's Trey Lance's number. You can't take that off Trey Lance like that.
I don't know. I mean, it's Saquon Barkley. I'm sorry, not Saquon Barkley. Zeke Elliott is a legend. He's a
bully.
This is a good play by Zeke, though. He's trying to resell all those jerseys again.
Exactly, because he kind of
businessman.
And honestly,
this is mandatory.
The Cowboys didn't really do much moving in the offseason.
They were all in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're not going to do I mean, we'll see. The Cowboys, they always are kind of contending with the Eagles. So I'm thinking they'll be, 10-7, make it a playoff round, out first round. And then the Eagles, honestly, dude, all season we got beautiful. We got Saquon Barkley. We got what's his face? From the linebacker. From the Bucks.
Devin White.
Yeah. Devin White. We got Huff from the Jets. We picked up huge pieces in the defense in the draft. And we got Saquon Barkley. We extended AJ Brown's contract. We also extended Devontae Smith's contract. So, I mean, we always say this as an Eagles fan, we're going to have a better season than last. So let's hope we don't have that 6-game loss, streak that we did towards the end of the season. So I'm thinking this year that give me Eagles at 13-4. 13-4. They'll make it to the NFC championship, and then they'll maybe make to the Super Bowl. But that's my prediction this year. Sorry,
Lions versus the Eagles in the NFC title game. Lions versus
I
Eagles.
can see that. Honestly, I can see that. Yeah.
The Lions set themselves up kind of nicely.
Let me
honestly.
play Jared Goff in the NFC Championship all day long.
He chokes
We want
when the lights are brightest, so he can get you there. It's just when he's there.
And as before anyone goes on, as Philly Shardy said, we also got CJ back. So that's another addition to the offseason that is huge for us. I rest my case. Sorry, I was a little broken.
So, Jordan, now that you gave him the nice, calm, semi-logical answer, here, can I be a loose cannon for a hot sec?
Tommy, you're always a dark horse. Go ahead.
So, let's just. I'm gonna to quote one of my favorite running backs.
Let me paint you a picture.
The Giants are ass. And quoting LaShawn McCoy. I'm gonna go down the same order you did, Jordan. Giants kind of bolstered their offensive line this offseason, and so their offensive line's better. But they have Danny Picks, who's coming off of what was it? He tore the Achilles or something like that, and torn ACL, whatever he did. He's going to be ass. He's going to be Danny Picks as usual.
Pennies.
So let's move on from them. They'll be what? 2-15, 3-14.
Wow, you think
like
that dude?
Nah, not really, but yeah, one could hope. The Commanders. The Commanders are going to Commanders. Their stadium's falling apart. Their organization's falling apart. They're like a 12-year-old running a Madden franchise. Like, they don't really know what they're doing. And they didn't really improve. There's nothing that I saw was like, oh wow, they don't have a quarterback still. Like, they don't have anyone on defense. They gave away all their pieces to the Niners last year. They're gonna be absolutely dog shit this year. But that being said, I don't hate them as much as I do the Giants. 3-16, 4-13. Simply because,
possible.
Just because that I hate them a little less than the Giants.
Is that including their preseason record? Is it 3-16?
Oh shit!
Just go with it. Just roll with it. Yeah, and the preseason games.
Yeah, and the preseason games. They're gonna lose them all too. And then, including preseason, the Cal shits are going 0-20.
Yeah, they're like a real Philly fan.
Zeke is eating grass. And you know what rhymes with grass? He's
ass.
You said it, not me.
I'll finish it for you. I'll give you my rundown real quick.
Dakota,
and let our guest Mike hit it home.
Dakota moves like the Dakota Mountains. And
He hasn't said anything about the Eagles, so
Gallup is
yeah,
not
Tom,
galloping this year. He's galloping his way to the bench.
Gallup signed with the Raiders today.
Oh shit! Never mind.
Galloping his way to a quarterback.
Lamb is going down like a lamb. He's going down as peaceful as a lamb. There you go. Oh, and I'm done giving them any time because they're going 0-20, including their preseason. 0-17 regular season. They're not doing anything. If they make it to the playoffs, great. They're going to lose first. Whatever the first round game they play is like they do every year because it's Dakota. Birds, 15-2.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Just after all of that passion, you just go, and Birds, 15-2, period. It's over.
Yeah.
It's
funnier that way. I saw your reaction.
Are you kidding? Are you serious, Tom? Are you serious? Like, that's your real prediction for next year?
Yeah, I because think about it, they absolutely dominate. Their offense is very dominant, and that's without a coach last year. They have a real coach this year here as an offensive coordinator. Could you imagine what that team last year could have done? And they're essentially keeping the whole team. They got rid of Kelsey, but Kelsey was aging. So if anything, you're getting someone who's about of equal value because his athleticism is so much higher up than Kelsey's, even though his football IQ isn't as high. So it's really a 1-for-1 replacement in my eyes at center. So your offense essentially stayed the same, maybe improved a little bit with Saquon compared to Swift, but I thought Swift was fabulous last year. We just utilized him wrong. Like, that's on us. He was fabulous. Yeah. So to me, the offense neutral, defense you upgraded at safety with CJ Blankenship. Thank God it's not going to be your number one safety anymore, but he'll be pretty good. You have Cooper DeJean. You have that guy from Toledo. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Like
Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, linebacker. You can't get worse. Like they were dog shit at linebacker last year. So if they get worse at linebacker, that's scary. They probably got the Little Sisters of the Poor or some 6-year-old Pee Wee Pop Warner team out there playing linebacker.
Drill things that the coaches stand on, and you're just gonna fucking have a megaphone at training camp this year and just say the most annoying shit to our players to just piss them off and get ready for the "you look like the Little Sisters of the fucking Poor" out there as they're like pulling you back. Oh my god, that would be I'll give you my
it can't be like so. I was illogical for the other three. I'll be logical for the Birds now. I could say that they dominated through 10 games last year.
You can't go everything I said except for the last part.
Pretty much.
Dalton, give us a rundown.
All right. You guys pretty much took all the words out of my mouth. I
love
Tom's Danny pick. 6-11 for the Giants for me. The Commies, I think, will actually be a little bit better this year. I really, really think that their QB is going to surprise a lot of people. Jaden Daniels, I think, kid out of LSU. I don't watch college football like I used to anymore, even though I'm an LSU fan. That tells you how little I watch. Cowboys, I think, will be 10-7.
Big LSU fan.
Okay,
Sorry.
Shut the hell up. I think the Cowboys are going to be 10-7. I think that they'll take a step back. Pat Zeke's there, but they're not going to be bad by any means. With all that talent,
they're 0-20.
Their minimum ceiling is a 10-win team, in my opinion, minimum. And I'm giving them their minimum because I'm a Philly fan. And then last but not least, Eagles. Realistically, Tommy, I'm one game behind you. I got 14-3.
Thank you. I wasn't
rolled through 10 games last year. 13-4 is what they should be. I think that was what they were. Their Super Bowl year was 13-3 when it was still a 16-game season. So I'm expecting with this roster, anything less than 13 wins, I'm disappointed as a fan. What are you thinking, Mike?
Well, I mean, pretty much the same ranking as you guys, but a little bit less bias.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to be in the bottom again. This is it for Daniel Jones. They basically set up to tank this year and go get a quarterback next year. They don't they brought in Malik Neighbors, and I know Giants fans are going to say Malik Neighbors is our number one weapon, but we're talking about replacing one of the most productive all-purpose weapons in the entire league. And Malik Neighbors is not just going to step in there and produce at the same level yardage-wise and scoring-wise as Saquon Barkley. It's not even going to be close. I think that by the time we get to week 8, 9, 10, Mamma Mia, Tommy DeVito's back in there. I think that's what's going to end up happening. and he's probably going to do better than Daniel Jones, unfortunately for Daniel. And Daniel's going to end up as a backup on the Eagles next year.
Before you go on to the next team, Mike,
Jesus.
Quick funny story about Tommy DeVito. My mom didn't know who he was and got me a Tommy Cutlets sweatshirt for Christmas because she thought it was a funny nickname.
Yeah. Did you set it on fire?
No, for one reason only. It might be one of the comfiest sweatshirts I've ever received, though.
Well, Tommy DeVito's gonna land the.
You fucking traitor!
I wear it to like paint and shit. Dutch, calm yourself.
You just
Paint comfortably.
Yes,
you just told
paint
everybody.
comfortably.
And take a shit on the toilet comfortably.
Exactly. See, you get it, Mike.
Yeah, I got you.
Use this sleeve as toilet paper. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a few ugly sweaters around.
What else? Yeah. Who else do you have, Tommy? Or not Tommy, Mike.
Yeah. So I think that I will go Commanders third, but I think that it's going to be interesting with the Dallas Cowboys because usually when you do this and you put all your players' backs against the wall with their contracts, the season goes terribly. Bad things happen. Players don't want to play through bang-ups. I don't know what Dak's thinking going into this season at all because his contract's expiring. CeeDee Lamb's contract's expiring. They're going to have to extend him. Micah Parsons is getting up there in years now where his contract's coming up. They bring in Ezekiel Elliott. They don't really have like any weapons outside CeeDee Lamb that have been super consistent. I think there's a chance that the wheels fall off the Cowboys completely this year. And a lot of players, the last 5 games are saying we're going to throw in the towel and preserve our careers versus selling out for the Dallas Cowboys this year. So I think the Commanders are going to win 8 or 9 games, and I think the Cowboys are going to win 8 or 9 games this year. And a lot of people aren't going to like that, but what they lost in the interior of their offensive line, the lack of a running back that has produced in the last couple of years, Zeke's not who he is. So I think they're going to be close. I'll go with the Commanders in third. I'll give the Cowboys benefit of the doubt in second. But I think I'm with you, Dalton. I like Jaden Daniels. It's a great landing spot for him. Terry McLaurin's already there. Jahan Dotson's already there. People forget Zach Ertz is on this team. He's a safety blanket. He's going to be working the middle of the field. They drafted pretty well. They drafted a tight end that can relieve him a little bit so he's not stuck out there just getting destroyed every single play. And my wife was right there. And I think that the Commanders are going to surprise people this year. Their defense is really good. They got Johnny Newton in the second round. He fell to him. And, of course, in first, the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. And I think that they're going to win. I think they're going to win 13 games also. I'm with you guys. I love the pickup of Saquon behind this offensive line. You don't really need to use Jalen Hurts like you have before where you just freaking pound him up the middle or give him a bunch of QB draws when you have a high-volume guy like Saquon Barkley. And I don't know what Tommy was saying. This is a massive upgrade from DeAndre Swift. Not that DeAndre Swift is terrible. When we talk about big plays, we talk about making people miss in open space. No one can tackle Saquon Barkley one-on-one in this league. No one. There ain't no Cowboy that can do it. There ain't no Giant that's going to do it. And there ain't no freaking Commander that's going to be tackling Saquon Barkley in open space one-on-one. And you just know that they're going to have so many opportunities to put him out there in open space because so many teams are going to have to load the box to stop the run up the middle. If you don't load the box, they're just going to carve you up. You load the box, and now he's working the edges, and he's getting screens. He's getting dump offs and double passes and all kinds of fun stuff. So I think that pickup like really took Philadelphia's offense to the next level, especially the scoring, the rushing, and then the defense. And as far as the work they've done in the secondary, it might not click right away early on in the season. Eagles fans might be a little bit worried seeing these youngsters fail a little bit, but they're going to learn their lessons, and they're smart players. Both Mitchell and DeJean are. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. So I agree with you guys mostly. Giants, Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Love it. All right, Mike. Appreciate you hopping on the show. Tell everyone where you can find you at. NFL Mike on all platforms. And then also, we're actually working on an Eagles design as we speak. I just launched a clothing brand. So go follow me. fifthdown.shop on all platforms as well. Just go check it out. Say hi. We're still dropping the designs, so we're working on it. But fifth down 5.shop. Is it 5?
Check out that Eagles design. Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Jason Kelsey inspired Eagle. You ready?
Hell yeah!
This 302 birds leak right there.
Ooh, big news. All right, Mike, appreciate you hopping on the show.
Thanks.
Have a good night. Or
You guys too. Bolt up.
6:30 right there. Bolt up. All right, have a good one.
Bolt up. Yeah, go Chargers.
Little bolt up, go Birds collab there. If you guys don't and you don't follow NFL Mike, please do for real. If it wasn't for NFL Mike, we wouldn't be where we're at on this show. And all these guys know that. A big thank you to him and everything that he does for us. And even if you're an Eagles fan, I mean, like, what's really your beef with the Chargers? They got pretty cool colors with us. Thank you, Mike. They got pretty cool colors, too. I mean, I don't hate Chargers fans. There's another guy named Jay Bolted that I know Mike's probably laughing at backstage that I like to hang around a lot, too. So Chargers fans ain't so bad overall. But
The
moving along.
only issue I have with the Chargers is Joey Bosa. Coming at the Philly fan base.
49ers Bosa, I guess Nick Bosa, I don't really like. Joey had like a bad scenario, but Philly gets the best of everybody. Let's be fair.
Sure.
Philly's getting the best of everybody on the road right now. On the road again, Tom. They are rolling hotter than hell.
They absolutely rolled this this road trip. This is a long road trip too. Like, I totally forgot. Like, it's been over a week. Like, it was 10 days. Plus, they had some off days in there. Like, feels like it's been like a little over 2 weeks since they've been at the bank. Bryce Harper had a kid. Like, he became Daddy Harper for the third time on this road trip. We had Castellanos finally get out of his slump and hit 2 homers. We had Rojas hit a homer even on this road trip. Like, what is going on? Like, all positive things too. Daddy Harper, some Daddy Harper bombs.
What'd you say about Rojas again?
He hit a bomb.
Okay. Who said that he's gonna pop off? I think that was me.
I think it was Dutch.
No,
I specifically remember you saying, "I never want to see this Rojas guy again. Never. He's going to be absolute dog shit."
Right. That's what I said. I forgot.
Because you can't be right. You're not allowed to.
Whatever. Sorry, Tom. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're all good. But they popped off. It was like pop off queen 7-3 on this road trip. I absolutely loved it. Boom's been on fire. He was player of the week, I think, twice over this road trip. It's been that long. He might have been. But he was player of the week. Turner was player of the week. Ranger was pitcher of the week. Like all good things. Like it feels weird as a Philadelphia sports fan to not say negative things. But there were only good things that really happened this road trip. The only thing, like, negative is, like, I was questioning some of the lineup decisions Rob Thompson made over these past, 2 weeks or something? Where he's sitting Stott a little too much, but then Stott Stotty became Stotty the Hottie again in a little bit. I mean, he just needs some time off. Like, maybe I was just wrong, and Philly Rob we trust, really. Today's lineup was weird, and today's line, I don't know how they won today with 18 strikeouts. It's the first. They never gave a conclusive answer, but they said they got to like the 1800s before they finally had to stop and start calling the game again. And of looking to see the last time the Phillies had 18 strikeouts in a game and a win, this might have been the first time that's ever happened where they struck out 18 times and still won. So weird things today. Weird thing, but overall, once again, they won though. They were 7-3. Hey, they're on a good stretch. You got to win weird games like that sometimes. It's all good things.
Good things for sure. I mean, as a Phillies fan, it's nice to see your team be consistent in April. Tom and I were talking about it on the Phillies post-game show. We won't cover too much Phillies because Tom and Ashley just did a wonderful job on the Phillies post-game show. I don't want to discredit that at all. So if you can, please go give it a watch. It's on our YouTube channel. But what I said on the show was, if you would have told us in March or in February that the Philadelphia Phillies would be the first team to 20 wins, we would have told you are absolutely crazy. There's something wrong with you. And somehow, some way, they did it. They just need to stay consistent. But finding ways to win on the road, that's a big start.
Absolutely. Because the bank, she be a rocking at all times.
If the banks are rocking,
Don't come a knocking.
I love that quote. Jackson, you got anything to say about our Phils?
Nah, Tommy hit the nail on the head right there, bud.
One might say I even hit it out of the park.
Hey!
Good one, bud.
I don't know. Is that all you're joining us for, Tom, tonight, or?
Yeah, that's all I'll join for tonight.
He's been working like a horse tonight with the post game show. We had him working like a freaking well-oiled machine tonight, just round the clock.
Yeah. Plus,
thank God.
Thank Ballpark for joining us, guys. If you guys don't, please give Ballpark a follow on his Instagram. We collaborate a lot with him on our 302 Birds page, and that's where you can get Ballpark's takes. He posts a lot on his story on there. If he's ranting, or if he's joyous. There's been a couple of joyous times too.
There's been a lot of joyous lately. It's been overly joyous.
It's been overly joyous for sure. But make sure you guys give him a follow because it's one of the best places to get your Phillies news from a direct source, a lifelong fan.
Of course. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Ballpark.
I'll see you boys later.
Have a good one, bro. All right, so Jackson, our Philadelphia 76ers are making this an absolutely fascinating series to watch. Tyrese Maxey has a insane shot from the logo to force it to go into OT last night. The Sixers end up winning in OT. It felt like the team was done in parts of that game. Second quarter, for real. It felt like after the way that they played, it was over. It was Joel over. The 76ers have done a great job, and in the game, specifically Tyrese Maxey, finding ways to win. He has his career high in a playoff game with a whopping 46 freaking points. That is nuts. People are saying that Tyrese Maxey, they don't think that he has the experience or he's not ready to be the guy to take control to be the one. That's why Kyle Lowry's out there so much. I don't know. I say let him develop. And hear me out. If we're going to keep Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid like we are every year, like they probably will, why not let these guys develop? Why would you let a 40-year-old Kyle Lowry, who's playing 40 minutes a game, I think he's 39 or something, but why would you let him be out there? And no disrespect to Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's a great player. I get it. He's been in more of those scenarios than Tyrese Maxey. I just think it's a situation now for the Sixers of life or death. And for me, life or death means put your best players out there. Put your best roster out there that gives you your best chance to win. So I really hope that the Sixers do. And I will say this, and I'll leave it at this. They really, really are lucky that Julius Randle's not playing. Because I think if Julius Randle played, they would have gotten exposed, and it would have been a sweep. If not, I think it would have been a 4-1 series blowout.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like keep your best 5 players out there. Well, as being a Sixers fan, we don't really have a best 5. We have Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid played, I think, 40 minutes, maybe 35 minutes last night. No, I'm sorry, 40. He played almost 45 minutes, I think. But we got to you really think about it. Tyrese Maxey, some games he's reliable, some games he's not. I mean, last night was the Tyrese Maxey game. I mean, without Tyrese Maxey, the way he played, there wouldn't be a game 6. So I really don't think Jalen Brunson went off last night, dropping a triple-double last night with 30-some points. So we should kind of find ways to stop these players. Josh Hart, he's average at best, but Jalen Brunson has just really been tearing our defense apart. And I really think that this is the Knicks series. Granted, we got lucky last night with the win. But Tyrese Maxey, he has those hot games, and then he has some cold games. So I really think, to your point, we don't really have a good starting 5. And I think Nick Nurse is putting in people that he thinks, can bounce off each other as best as possible. And we really don't have a solid starting 5 quite yet. Tobias Harris has some good games, some bad games. Kelly Oubre has some decent games, but the thing that we struggle with is consistency. So, okay, Tyrese Maxey played great last night. Can he do that again tomorrow night? We don't know. So I really think it's time to kind of, do we really think Joel Embiid deserves to stay here? Because granted, yeah, he's been injured, and hasn't really been playing the best basketball as possible. But I mean, he didn't really do much last night. He had a few assists, few blocks. But it's just like, it's hard to invest on these two players, Tyrese Maxey being the young star he is, and Joel Embiid, who should be a great talent. And it's just some games, granted, we may need him in the regular season, but Joel Embiid can't really perform in the playoffs. So I really think it's a matter of, okay, what does Nick Nurse see that's going well for us, and how can we improve upon it next season? Because without the Sixers didn't play great basketball last night. Like I said, it was literally the Tyrese Maxey game. Like without Tyrese Maxey, I don't see us winning this game. So really think we can, we'll figure out what these Sixers can do. I personally think there's no way they're getting out of this round. Prove me wrong. That's all I got to say.
I think if they make it out of this round, in all fairness too, they're going to be a different animal. If they make it out of this round, they are the scariest team in the NBA, because you just came back from a 3-1 lead. Your momentum, you're hot, and that's going to be if Embiid and Maxey can both be at peak. You know what I mean? They both have got to be at peak, and I think that they can both hopefully get there, but we shall see. We shall see. I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to necessarily get my hopes up too much, because I don't want to be let down. But right. I think go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, in the next series we would be playing is either against the Pacers or the Bucks, and the Pacers are popping off this season, so I don't think really match up well against the Pacers. So anyway, that's all I got to say. I mean, we'll see what happens if they do make it out of this round.
Prove us wrong, like you said. I mean, I don't have a lot of hope, but I think that there's a good chance that they can win tomorrow night. I'd be shocked if they win Game 7. I do think that they're going to force a Game 7. Coming back to Philadelphia, I didn't think that they would win that game last night. I really didn't going into it. And they got lucky that they played so well in the second half and really went on that run in between the third and fourth quarter that they were able to win that game, because I really did not think that they had a snowball's chance in hell. And I don't think that the Sixers, in all fairness, deserve to make it out. Like, when your whole team, your whole entire team, except for two players, essentially gives up, that's frustrating. That's when it gets over. And you gotta love Alex Robson, the freaking Knicks fan in the house, saying the Wells Fargo takeover, JB is gonna drop a 50-burger, Jalen Brunson. I don't know, man. You got the Philadelphia 76ers ownership putting their foot down today. I did like that. Buying about 2,000 tickets to give away to first responders, medical people, just people who give back to the community, who are public servants. And I did like that. He's saying lucky is the definition of that game. Not going to happen again. It's a bump in the road for my boys. And that's an understandable thing to say as a Knicks fan. It was definitely a lucky shot, like Jack just emphasized and hit home. It was the Tyrese Maxey game. And if Tyrese Maxey wasn't there, the Philadelphia 76ers would not have won that game, would not be in this position. So shout out to them for forcing a Game 6. I do think that they'll force a Game 7. I think that the Sixers have some momentum right now. I just don't see them going anywhere past that, unfortunately. Talking about Game 6 preview really quick, do you have anything that you're most excited to see? Will the Sixers do it? Are you expecting a stat line at anybody? DiVincenzo, our Salesian brother, I was keeping an eye on him. I did have a bet down during the game for him to get at least 12 points. I think he had like 9 to finish the game, or 10. Anybody that you're watching specifically?
I mean, Dante, he not to be biased, but he is playing locks defense on all of our players. Like there was a point in the game last night where I think it was Toby or someone, and he just had him on lockdown. And he's just a versatile player, and his defense is insane. So the fact that he can, keep up with the likes of Embiid and things like that is kind of awesome. But one last thing, Tony said, yeah, Embiid had a triple double last night, but at the same time, like he only had 19 points. So I would want to see an Embiid breakout game this upcoming game because 19 points isn't going to cut it. Because without those 19 points, without those 46 points from Maxey, this wouldn't be a game. So we need our 2-star players to show up when it matters the most. And we need to make those freaking foul shots. Like we missed so many foul shots last night that could have gave us the dub easily, but we missed. I think Embiid missed 4 foul shots in the last, 10 or last 6 minutes. So making those foul shots, granted, they don't really matter that much, but at the same time, it's these moments like pushing it overtime, those foul shots do matter. So that's what I'm looking for. Make it the foul shots and Embiid to play consistent. So that's all I got to say. You're muted, bud.
Fair point. I don't want to harp too much on the Sixers just because I don't want me or Jack to jinx them. But I do want to talk about the NFL draft really quick. We have only a few more topics for you guys. But before the NFL draft, the Eagles got some really, really good news. There were a lot of rumors going around of a lot of people saying, oh, we don't know about A.J. Brown, this, that. He could be, traded draft night. Just absolutely nuts things that people
were saying that? Dog, that was you. That was you saying that.
I was saying I was a little bit afraid, but I was saying it because a lot of news media outlets, 94 WIP, all of them were saying it. So I was just repeating what I was told as a fan, getting information where we get it. And then it happened draft night. A.J. Brown, well, I should say right before the draft. Yeah. A.J. Brown signs this great deal. He's extended. Then he comes out today or in his press conference the other day and says that he's excited he's going to retire an Eagle or looks to only wear midnight green. This is where he took off, and it's just so nice to see this. This guy gets this extension. I personally think that he's the best Eagles wide receiver of all time. This is the best move that the Eagles have ever made, and it's paying dividends. So I'm so glad that the Philadelphia Eagles front office knows what to do with this and is like, all right, cool, we got to lock this guy up. We can't let him go away. You have probably the best wide receiver duo in the NFL right now. If you took the two, and you said, hey, what team has the 2 highest ranked? Like if you took an average of the 2 out of the top 20 wide receivers, I don't know that there's that many other teams now that are there with the Eagles. A lot of those duos that were there a couple of years ago have been split up. And Devontae Smith has only gotten better, and A.J. Brown has only gotten better. So in my opinion, it's the Eagles. Love to see it. A.J. Brown is here for a long time and looks to retire an Eagle whenever that day may be. Another extension, I think, is in the cards. But this is the big one. Do you think, Jack, can I ask you, I'm going to talk my shit, of course, but are you ready to say, is he the best Eagles wide receiver of all time?
Nope.
No.
What are you basing off of? Because we had T.O., we had D-Jack, we had Jason Avant, like some of these key receivers that, I mean, I don't know. I'm not there yet. I don't know what's going to be my deciding factor, but I wouldn't say that quite yet. So I don't know, because I really think Terrell Owens, even though he's kind of an asshole, he was a once in a lifetime receiver that no one really had a receiver like that. And I mean, other than Megatron, but Terrell Owens did a lot for us D-Jack, that long ball threat. I mean, you can't really. I don't know. I really don't know. I seriously don't know. I'm glad we extended his contract. I think he was well deserving of it. And we have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith for the long run. But I wouldn't say quite yet that AJ Brown is the best receiver. I think, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I know Dalton is big on this. He wanted to prove me wrong by saying the stat line of T.O. and AJ Brown. Maybe AJ Brown's stats are a little better now.
I haven't done the update yet, so in all fairness, I will say yes. I think that he's better. I'll be the person on the podcast. It's just a Jack and Dalt pod tonight, guys. So I'm going to say yeah. I think A.J. Brown is the best Eagles wide receiver of all time. Like, when you look at what a wide receiver does in the modern era, he's doing everything right. From on the field to off the field. There's a couple of bumps in the road here and there. Like, right now, his profile picture is of Julio Jones in a Falcons jersey. And that's just how he is. It's like his way of saluting people and, thanking them. And I get that. Every player is different. But I think it's also fair to say, like, it raises questions. It raises suspicions. And when he does that, he's got to conscientiously know, like, okay, this is going to probably give me some blowback. But he doesn't care at the same time because he's that good. And
so
I respect a player like that. I do think that he's better than T.O., in my opinion. I think he surpassed him.
Do you think he's better than Harold Carmichael?
Yes. I think T.O. is better than Harold Carmichael. For me, if I had to
Harold
rank,
Carmichael in the history is the best receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles.
So he's your one, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. And then T.O.'s your two right now, and I guess A.J.'s your three at the moment?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Right now, so this is just a little stat. Harold Carmichael has the most receiving yards for the Eagles in history with 8,978 yards. And then we have Deshaun Jackson with 7,412 yards. And then we have Peter Retzlaff at 6,512 yards. So if you're basing off of yards, granted, AJ Brown has only been an Eagle for what? This is going on his third year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that could change. But as of right now, granted, I wasn't around. I wasn't alive for Harold Carmichael. But I would still say Harold Carmichael is the best well-rounded receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles of all time.
Okay. So I'll say this real quick. You're not wrong.
I guess my deciding factor is if A.J. Brown surpasses the receiving yards that Harold Carmichael has, will give me
But now that he's supposed to retire an Eagle, he should. That's the thing. He should. That's the Eagles' problem, though, Jack, that you just alluded to, which I'm glad you brought it up. T.O. and A.J. Brown, the Eagles fucked up good wide receivers. They fumbled the bag, and that's what I'm still worried about. Like, A.J. Brown made a post that, like, the hard part is done now, like, referring probably to the contract. Like, you got your deal. It's you versus you now. That was the post, essentially. And it's like, I just don't see this being the end of the drama because it's how players are nowadays. And I don't blame AJ. I don't. I think some fan is going to do something stupid or somebody's going to say something and it's going to backfire. And I could see why you say what you say about Harold Carmichael. But if you're talking about productivity-wise, like, and I know you and I have had this discussion before, I found the graphic today. If you look at these two guys through 43 and 45 games, A.J. Brown through 43 games, 185 receptions, 2,995 yards, so just under 3,000, and 24 tutties. You got T.O. in 45 games, 162 receptions, 2,553 yards, and 26 tutties. I believe that this didn't factor in his season in Philadelphia last year. So I need to add to that and figure out what the hell this updated is. But, like, as you guys can see, just looking at these numbers through 45 games, I mean, it's close as hell. So for AJ Brown to even be in the conversation of TO is something that we would have been psyched about draft night a couple years ago. But it's happening now. I really do think that AJ Brown is going to end up being the best Eagle of all time. And what's the number he's got to beat? How much is it?
8,978.
And that's career or Eagle yards? Eagle?
That is in franchise history.
Yeah, so that's going to be the tough part because AJ
But, like,
had his first, 2 or 3? Definitely his first 2. I think his first 3 seasons were in Tennessee.
Yeah. Because, I mean, granted, it's a hard stat to pass because, like Alex said, Carmichael was an Eagle for 12 years. So, again, it's about longevity. Like, is AJ Brown really going to be around for 12 years? I don't know. I think he's more of a physical receiver than Harold Carmichael is. More muscular, takes bigger hits, things like that. So, if he gets anywhere close to that in his tenure as an Eagle, he'll be the best Eagle of all time. So, I mean, yeah. So, Dalton, you could be right.
I hope I'm right. That's the thing that you guys, I hope everybody understands is that Jack and I both go to that age as well. Me, so I can talk shit to my buddy. Jack more because he's an Eagles fan, a true Eagles fan, and who wouldn't want to see their player succeed. So really quick, before we get into our final topic, I want to talk about this draft really quick. This draft was nuts. The Eagles knocked it out of the park, got a ton of young players that they wanted. And the first thing I want to address is this new look secondary. It is absolutely gorgeous if Howie Roseman does it right. If I'm the Eagles, this could make or break your season. And I was just talking about with the Sixers, putting the right players out there to make sure that you're in the position to succeed. And the Eagles have an absolutely killer instinct secondary. Darius Slay leading the charge on the outside corner spot. He obviously is your starter. Cornerback number 2, it's Mitchell for me. I think it's Mitchell for everybody else. So let's just go with that. I'm going to give Cooper DeJean the starting free safety spot over Reed Blankenship. I know that that's not the most popular opinion with a lot of Eagles fans, but when you look at the tape of what Cooper DeJean can do, this dude is spinning, getting pick sixes. Like, he's an athlete. I'm pretty sure in high school, Cooper DeJean was a quarterback. He wanted to be a quarterback going to Iowa. Then he converted to a corner. So he has offensive mindset too. With that being said, as a safety, that's like a dream skill set to have that like mentally. I think Cooper DeJean could be a player that is comparable to the Vikings' Harrison Smith in his peak. Maybe won't hit as hard, or maybe won't, hit that hard, but I think he'll be 10 times the ball hawk that Harrison Smith was. And I'm just saying that because Harrison Smith was kind of that field general, had a great football IQ, could read things a lot of times before the QB could read it. And hopefully that'll be a steal for the Eagles, like Robson is saying. I really think it'll benefit. And then if it's up to me, I'm going to put CJGJ at the strong safety spot. He's really the one who can hit people. He's the guy who can get down in the box. And I think he's the guy who I would rather have in the middle a lot of times in the secondary and the defense, just communicating with everybody because he knows that team. He knows a lot of those players, a lot of those young guys because he just played with them. I'm pretty sure Jordan Davis's rookie year was the Super Bowl year, right? Yeah. So he knows these guys. He's going to be able to call them out on their shit, joke around with them. It's going to take DeJean a season to do that. But, oh, my God, looking at this secondary, Jack, compared to last season, how excited are you? And would this be your secondary?
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, the week leading up to the draft, like I was expecting us to draft an offensive line, offensive lineman. We didn't get one till like round 6 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this is I think Howie is hearing the fan base. He kind of screwed up 5 years ago, 6 years ago with drafting Jalen Reagor. But now he's listening to what pieces we need, the missing pieces. And I'm not sure if Cooper DeJean's going to play safety or what, because he's supposed to be a cornerback. That's what he would be utilized as. But yeah, I mean, give Jeremiah Trotter a shot. He could. I know Nakobe Dean is definitely starting, or as of right now is starting linebacker. So I'm saying give Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Some credit. Get him some work in the OTAs. Get him some off plays in the preseason, and I would like to see that man starting. I'm surprised he dropped so low to round 5, but for my secondary, I would go Slay, cornerback. I would go Cooper DeJean as the other cornerback. Then I would go CJGJ at the safety position, right? And maybe utilize Quinton Mitchell as a safety. Because, I mean, I feel like if we're smart, we would kind of pick pieces, like put Quinton Mitchell at safety and then put him as cornerback, vice versa for Cooper DeJean. But I really think Howie
more like a
killed
zone is kind of what you're thinking for this Vic Fangio. Let the rushers get to the QB and let the guys in the secondary just be zone defense. Yeah, that makes sense. Similar to what we thought. Was he the defensive coordinator for the Broncos when they won the Super Bowl those couple of years?
I think so, yeah. I think
when
he was.
Champ Bailey was there, and who was the other guy that they had that was locked? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. He played like everywhere.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I can't. I draw a blank too, but I know what you're talking about.
It'll come to me in a couple of minutes.
And even
at the worst time,
we didn't say anything, but Will Shipley at running back, bolster that running back. I mean, we got obviously.
I necessarily wasn't a fan of that pick, believe it or not, because I would have. I agree with you, bolster running back, but I would have done it later. I thought it shocked me that he waited until the 6th round, but from what you've seen of Will Shipley and some of the other guys, because I don't want to, overshadow some of these other players. So really quick talking about some of them too. Will Shipley, are you excited from what you've seen on the film with him? Or
dude, I watched him in college and he's a crazy running back. And I honestly think it's gonna go Saquon 1, probably what's his face at 2. Who was the running back last year that we had? That was Fletcher Cox's cousin. Him at number 2, and then Will Shipley. Kind of put him in there because it's really sad to see Boston Scott. He's gone. He went to the Rams, I think.
Alyssa's very sad about that. I told her last night that Boston Scott left, and she was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not messing with you." And she was not happy about that.
Yeah. So I mean, not to get off topic, but yeah, I really think Howie killed it, and that's what I would do for our secondary. I mean, I think definitely our defense got a lot better. We filled some holes that we needed that as a team, cornerbacks, linebackers, D-line. So I'm really excited to see what this year's Eagles can do. I really think Howie killed it again. And just excited to see what happens. Yeah. Next generation.
And not to overshadow some of these other players too. I just want to highlight, like you said, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That was the most exciting pick of the draft, despite Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell coming to the team. Both those guys are extremely exciting, but Trotter Jr. had that hometown feel. When you see the film of him getting drafted, the owner of the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie, tearing up as he's calling him, that just speaks volumes of what it means to be a Philadelphia fan and Eagles fan. You see some of these baby pictures of Jeremiah Jr. in Eagles gear, and now it's literally the team that he's drafted by and playing for and probably going to be able to rock his Favs number. That's pretty cool. That's pretty surreal. And Jeremiah is going to be his own player. He's going to do his own thing. Don't get me wrong. He has his own style. But he definitely wants to pay homage and tribute to his dad, the guy that got him to where he is. So I'm very much excited about watching that because the Eagles needed some help and some competition at linebacker. Devin White, I think, is obviously going to be your middle linebacker 1. After that, middle linebacker 2 is up for grabs. It's anybody's game. It's any man's game. So I would love to see Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Go for a stab at it. I think he can.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen film on him, and he plays exactly like his father, which is crazy to think. I mean, granted, Jeremiah Trotter Sr. was kind of towards his end of his career with us when we were growing up watching the Eagles. But just to see that, full circle, him, like you said, Jeffrey Lurie crying on the phone, saying, remember when you were a kid carrying you around with your dad, things like that, that just speaks volumes to that hometown vibe. So I really think if I were to give this draft a grade, I would give it A+ for Howie. A+ for sure. I mean, he answered the call when we needed these picks. We bolstered our receiver position, even though we don't really need that much help. But we have some receivers. We got 2 receivers in the draft, so bolstered offensive line. So I think this was the best draft for Howie as the GM. That's all I got to say.
All right, so before we get into our 2 last topics, I do want to make sure we hit that trivia and give you guys some time to answer it. So without further ado, I will.
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dalton, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you to TickPick for that sponsorship. Like I said, it's baseball season, baby. Get your tickets through TickPick. No fees at all. Tonight's question we have for you is how many regular season home runs did the 2022 Phillies hit? How many home runs did the 2020 Phillies hit? We got A at 112. We got B at 130. We got C at 205. And then we have D at 210. Put your answer in the chat. I have the answers. I'm not sure if we're going to do that now or wait till the end of the show.
I can bring up the score, too, so that you guys can just get a quick score update as well.
Yep. So we got the fans with 3, Matt with 4, Tommy with, I think he has 6 now.
Yep.
Dalt with 4, Josh with 0, Ash with, I think she's at 7, and Decker at 3. So we'll at that, but we'll give you the answer towards the end of the show. Stay tuned.
Cool. So after all this work and Howie's A+++ draft, as we both joked around, do you think, Jack, that it's time? Would you say that the 2024 Eagles are the Super Bowl favorites?
I mean, I think the Chiefs are always going to be Super Bowl favorites after the extending the contract for Travis Kelce. But I would like to, as an Eagles fan, saying that the Eagles are favorite. I mean, any of the analysts are like Emmanuel Acho even said that the Eagles went off this draft. So I think he's like, this team is built to win. And I really think, I can see us, I wouldn't say go as far as a Super Bowl, but I'll go to the NFC NFC Championship, and then go from there. But I really think this team, and granted, we don't have a hard schedule like we did last year. So I really think this is, I wouldn't say a cakewalk, but I think this is going to be a fairly similar season to when we won the Super Bowl, and also when we went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I don't want to put my eggs in one basket. I don't want to say they're Super Bowl favorites, but I will say they're NFC Championship to win, or NFC Championship contender. That's all I want to say.
All right. I'm piggybacking off of that. I agree with you. I think at minimum, this team should be in the NFC Championship. If this team is not in the NFC Championship, it is a massive, massive mistake on the Eagles' part, on everyone's part, I would say. So if this team doesn't make it to the NFC Championship, it's a letdown. I really think that looking at this roster, this is the best team in the NFL. Just like it was last year, though. That's my problem. That was us last year, 10 games. We were the best team in football, and we fell flat on our face. What partially scares me, too, and I'll get to this in a minute, Kelsey's not here anymore. That veteran guy who's going to scream at you in the locker room, who can feel what the tide of the team is before even the coach knows, is not there anymore. So that scares me, and we'll get to what he's doing next in a second. But I will say, Howie Roseman, you have outdone yourself. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, CJ, you're bringing back Brandon Graham. You bring in Devin White. You go out and get Saquon Barkley. I probably haven't even named everybody that he's done this offseason. There's definitely some names I'm forgetting. And the only real departure, the only real noticeable name that left besides the hometown favorite, Boston Scott, a couple days ago, is Hassan Reddick and Kelsey. So I would say overall, as an off season, like, how do you not give Howie an A+? He did his job, everything he should do. Howie, go to Mexico, go to Cabo, wherever the hell you go, and go have some fun and relax, because you're going to need it, I think, this offseason with what this team does to us mentally. But in some brighter news, I just alluded to it a second ago, Jason Kelsey has found his new career. If you guys haven't heard the news, Monday nights he has signed a contract with ESPN, and he will be moving to the Monday Night Football crew. So if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, you like listening to Tony Romo, well, guess what? It's going to get a little bit better. I don't know what sort of aspect he's going to do. I'm sure that they'll kind of phase him in. They're not going to throw him into the Wolves right away. But I love this move. And I saw another thing saying that Robert Griffith III will not be coming back as a result of Kelsey coming in. And things like that stuff. But I do think Robert Griffith III is a great analyst and good at what he does. So I think he'll find a new home. But how excited are you to hear Kelsey on the mic, man?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be announcing the games. He's going to be on the pre and post game. Just kind of like it was kind of alluded to that Thursday night football game where he was on the panel when the Chiefs played, I think, on Thursday night. So I think he's more going to be behind the scenes, kind of talking up to the game, things like that. So, I mean, I really think his podcast really kind of bolstered and gave him the confidence to do something like this. I mean, I'm surprised they're like phasing him in so quickly, because I'm not sure what they're doing with Tom Brady at Fox, but they gave him a whole year to announce games. So I'm not sure what Tom Brady is doing. He may have disbanded. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm really excited to see Jason Kelsey kind of on the mic at the panel. That Monday Night Football crew is really great, and I think he fits in perfectly. And it's just gonna, I can't wait to see him do the pregame for the Eagles on Monday Night Football. So that's gonna be awesome. So I really think, he's deserving of it, and I think it's gonna be a great fit for him for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good fit too. I think it's something that you're right about the podcast. It's very amazing and interesting to see how this podcast has propelled him into a full-on media personality. Jason Kelsey was kind of just like a frat guy before, I would kind of say. Not like that, but like if I had to give a comparison to him, he was kind of like a likable player in the city, the mayor of Philadelphia, but was never really this serious about the media appearances. Wasn't that scheduled. Was like, oh, if the mic's around, I'll grab it. I'll do something. He is weekly talking about sports now and becoming a qualified sports podcaster in his own way of describing things. And that's what I think is so cool about Jason Kelsey, is he paves the way for people like you and me, to where you don't have to go to school for this. You don't have to be a professional. You just have to be a fan. And being a fan is enough to get you knowledge and be able to speak from the heart. So, Jason Kelsey, I cannot wait to watch you. You have a huge fan here. And I will be tuned in every Monday night watching you in shorts, flip-flops, and a blazer and button down, sitting behind that desk.
I'm excited, dude. It's gonna be electric for sure.
It is. It's gonna be electric. just like hopefully when I get this right, this trivia, I'll be in the lead, which will also be electric.
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dalton, the mayor of Delaware.
Again, thank you to Tick Pick for that sponsorship. Like I said previously, it is Philly season. Purchase your tickets through Tick Pick. You won't regret it. So tonight's question we have for you is how many regular season home runs did the 2022 Phillies hit? A, 112, B, 130, C, 205, D, 210. Again, leaderboard, fans with 3, Matt with 4, Tommy with 6 or 7, Dalton with 4, Josh with 0, Ash with 7, and then Decker with 3. So, tonight's question, I'll go to the fans first. Tonight's question, the answer for tonight's trivia is right here. Alex Robson got the correct answer with 205. The Philadelphia Phillies as a team hit 205 home runs in the 2022 season. So congratulations, Alex Robson. So as for the 302 Birds squad, we got NFL Mike. He said A. We got Tommy 10 toes down Tommy. He said 205. Correct. We got Ash, even though she's not on the show tonight. I texted her before the show started. She said 205. Correct. Dalton, I'm not sure. Did you text me or whatever? What did you say?
Yeah, I got it wrong. I said 130 in the group chat. I'm an honest man.
Yep. Dalton got it. Oh, yeah. You said 130. So, with that, the fans is now at 4. Tommy is now at 7. Dalton is still at 4. Ashley is now at 8. And that's all we got for you, boys and girls. So we appreciate you being on the show tonight. Congratulations, Alex, on getting that correct. It is Philly season. Pray to God these Sixers can pull through. They probably won't. And, I mean, yeah, excited to see what can happen. Dalton, you got anything else?
No, I just want to thank everybody that tuned in. I want to thank Alex for tuning in tonight during our live show. If you guys haven't, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow for a ton.
Damn, dog. Woo! Alex,
I know more about your teams than you. Yeah, thanks, Alex Robson. There's something out called Google that you can do behind the screen, old pal. So, all right, I'll kick it to Jackson to get us out of here.
Yeah, without further ado, we appreciate everyone who comes on the show and listens to us. But without further ado, we will end tonight's show with this. Hey, Josh! It's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.